Thank you for inviting us, and it's always more than interesting to share ideas and to have provocative challenges, not just on communication, but on the functioning of the Union as well. When President Juncker asked me to be his special advisor, to go for not just a report, but also for the analysis more in depth of the actual communication policy of the Commission and the Union, and also to propose some not just guidelines and so on. The first point is 32% of the Europeans do have trust in the European institutions. But on the other hand, 65% of the Europeans still feel European. So, as always in life, the glass is half empty or it is half full. And the real point in our view is, and that is what I try to put in our report, by the way, the time frame is uplooking the commemoration of the 60th anniversary of the Treaty of Rome. You know that the Commission is preparing a white paper. And after the launching the start of the 10 priorities and the EFSI at the beginning of this period of the Commission, I think that we have all to take on board this second momentum to not just go for the analysis, but to go for an enhanced, improved and coherent communication. But speaking in terms of the outreach towards the citizens, the main point is that it is not just about communication. And too much, too long, the European institutions, also the European Commission, we all are selling Europe. And this is in fact not in full respect for the social reality of the people. And there is a kind of, may I say, predisposition that all institutions, and certainly the Commission as well, are thinking that the social reality from the view on of the European institutions is fitting totally with the social reality of the people. And this is one out of the important things we have to overcome, otherwise we cannot achieve. So, for us, it is not just about communication, it is about information, but it is indeed about Europe citizens-centric approach. And we know, and there are a list of, may I say, good examples, and by the way, there are a lot of achievements by the Union and where it was not possible to achieve when we were not doing it in common. On the other hand, we have to assess there is a very technical relationship with the citizens, just focusing on the decision making. There is the real top-down approach. There is, may I say, the point that anyway, as important it is only about the budget and the economics, but we are not schizophrenic citizens. There is also part of emotion, well-being, yeah, good feeling and so on, what has to be put in place. And this is the reason why we try to detect better. And I want, due to the time frame, limit me to 3 points. The first thing is, we have not to reinvent the wheel when we have already the wheel on the car, on the bike, and so on. What does it mean? The Treaty of Lisbon already is very clear. We have the horizontal civil dialogue, we have the vertical civil dialogue, we have the European Citizens Initiative, we have the dialogue on values, but not one of them is really implemented and is taken seriously. So the first point is, let's use all instruments we have already in place. And this is the reason why we have to go for proposals to implement it in a right way. The other point is that looking to the institutions, I'm of course pleased by the Parliament's action and so on, but in my view, as important the election period for the Parliament may be, and still is, yeah, The real campaign by the European Parliament in relationship with the citizens is during the term of mandate. And for this good reason, I think at EU there has to be a bottom-up approach as well. I want just to give one proposal. You know that in old democracies there was the Isigoria, where the public, the people directly could make their proposals, their feelings, their wishes directly in the parliament in place. So it could be a nice idea that the parliament would be open time to time, not just to receive petitions, but to involve people directly in the hemicycle. The other point is, looking to the European Council, it is a strange war that in fact, and speaking and thinking about populism, and which are the aims, the projects, the purpose of the Union. It is for some member states more and more a false dilemma to say or the European Union or democracy in our member states. And it is absolutely, may I say, inconceivable that the ones they are in fact committed to have the same approach to their citizens, that they are in a split position and that they are criticizing the Union due to the fact that they cannot achieve, but they are in fact basic for this situation. A third point is that, and this is a major point, it is in fact not just strange, but more than that, that there is no coherent relationship with the citizens-centric from all institutions. Everybody is acting behind the closed doors of its institution. Yeah? And there is a great manco due to the fact that there is a kind of silo approach, and so we have to overcome this point. And this is the reason why I am absolutely in favor, and it will be one of our proposals, not to go for large and great institutional agreements and so on, but I'm absolutely in favor to go for functional agreements between all institutions towards the outreach and the communication, may I say, the real place of the citizens to go for a better democracy. So there are a few points, and not least, you know, some ones know that I'm always at least one moment making reference to the important concept of multi-level governance. We cannot go for the right outreach to the people when we are not plucking this point, starting and based on the concept of the multi-level responsibility, the local, the regional, the state and Europe. But the other point, even important, we have to put the actors in our society in place, we have to embark them, and we will fail, and the Commission will fail, and the Union will fail on the 10 priorities. Like Jacques Delors was saying, nobody will fall in love with the single market, nobody will fall in love with the 10 priorities. So it is important that, and that are the two dimensions of subsidiarity, you have to do it at all levels, you have to put everybody on board, but you have also to embark the social, the societal actors, the economic ones, the cultural ones, and so on. So I think that at this very stage we are working still on the matter, and we hope to go for some interesting, useful proposals, let's say, for the end of this year.